So, super exciting. We have gone hands-on with the new Canon R6 III. It's been 3 years since we saw the R6 II, and with the Mark III, we are seeing some really nice improvements across the board. And honestly, the R6 line of cameras, I think, just has huge potential. It's an absolute workhorse of a camera, and in a lot of ways, this actually can be the better hybrid, the better all-rounder option for most people, because it's packed full of great spec and capability, but at a slightly lower price than something like the R5 II, which sits obviously just above it. So let's get into a little bit of the spec of this camera. It's of course designed as an all-rounder. Canon say it's a stills first camera, but the video specs here are seriously impressive as well. And I would have absolutely no issue using it professionally for video. So we've got a nice bump up here in resolution. There's now a 32.5 megapixel sensor inside, which is giving you a little bit more room to crop, while still finding a nice balance in terms of file size for those images. You still have some great speed here as well. It's able to shoot up to 40 frames a second with the electronic shutter and up to 12 frames a second with the mechanical shutter. So you can absolutely use this for things like sports, for wildlife. It is a great and true all-rounder in that sense. Now, the image quality here is really lovely. That's not a huge surprise, but I was super impressed in particular by the way the camera handles higher ISO value images. So for example, these shots were taken with an ISO of 12,800 and they look super clean. I've not done anything in post to clean these up, and it just makes it incredibly versatile for, again, all kinds of shooting. You pair this up with something like the RF 100 to 500 and you have got a fantastic wildlife or sport setup. You add in things like pre-continuous shooting to make sure you're not missing the shot and a 150 RAW buffer, and you should be pretty good to go whatever you might be photographing. Now, I was using the AI autofocus in the camera when taking these images of birds and squirrels, and it was able to just pick them out of the foliage pretty impressively, and in most cases, it would actually lock onto their eye, which is very lovely. We're looking at the dual pixel CMOS AF2 autofocus system with deep learning, which really helps with that subject detection. You've got things like register people priority as well, that we've seen in cameras like the R5 II, where you can set someone as a priority and the camera will always try to focus on them first if they're in the frame. That's absolutely ideal for something like a wedding, to be honest, something that I think this camera would absolutely excel at. Now, of course, there's IBIS in the camera, 8.5 stops, which is another improvement over the Mark II. And this, again, helps with low light shooting and, of course, handheld video. I mentioned earlier that the R6 III is a stills first hybrid camera, and that's how Canon described it. But I'll be totally honest with you, the video specs here are frankly amazing. There's a lot that you can do with this camera for professional level video, and whether you want to use this as your main video option or as a second camera to something like the R5 II or even something like a C400, this is absolutely an invaluable video tool. Internally, you can shoot 7K 60p in RAW, which gives you so much versatility in post-production. I mean, there's so much you can do with video shot like that. Otherwise, though, you can shoot up to 4K 120, and that's 422 10-bit. You've got open gate recording in here as well, so loads of flexibility in the stuff that you can shoot. Lots of tools at your disposal as well in the camera. So as a videographer, you might want to use things like waveform, zebra, and I especially love shooting with the aspect ratio overlays so that you can actually consider different formats while shooting. That's particularly good for things like open gates. You can really think about that while actually filming the footage. Now, you've got a full-size HDMI port on the camera, so lots of external RAW recording options. And in terms of design, it's extremely similar to the R6 II in the way that it looks and feels and actually handles as well. It's about 29 grams heavier, so basically unnoticeable, with the same EVF and the same screen as well. You've got 2 card slots here, one taking CF Express Type B, the other SD, and the camera feels great in the hands, whether you're pairing it up with a longer lens like the 100 to 500 or with something smaller like the new 45mm prime lens. It is incredibly comfortable in the hands. The grip is lovely and big, so it's just very, very easy to handle. And shooting handheld and actually moving around and being a little bit maneuverable is very, very easy to do. That's something that's great, again, as a very versatile all-rounder camera, whether you are shooting events and having to be on the go, or whether you are shooting things like wildlife or sport, or even landscape, where you wanted to be able to lock this off on a tripod or have this handheld. It's very easy to set that up like that. I have absolutely loved shooting with this camera because there's something very impressive about a hybrid camera that is designed like an all-rounder like this one is. And what the R6 III really does is keep up with you no matter what you're doing. doing. Switching over to video, absolutely not a problem. You can shoot some great high quality slow motion video, some raw video if you want to be able to grade that later and get the most out of those files. Switch back to still, shooting wildlife. The autofocus is keeping up absolutely with the various things like subject detection, landscape, portrait, close-up stuff. It's absolutely able to just keep up with whatever you're doing. It's a very decent upgrade across the board from the R6 II, really in pretty much every aspect. And I really think for most people, like I said before, this is probably the best option in the Canon range as an all-rounder hybrid camera, balancing things like price, capability, workflow, and then with the R5 II sitting above, if you need more resolution and even more options in the way that you can shoot with things like autofocus and video as well. But with the R6 III, you're getting a seriously powerful camera. And with the saving from the R5 II, you can actually get yourself some lovely glass to go with it, which is absolutely very important. Now you can check out the full spec of the R6 III. There's loads to go and look at over on parkcameras.com. I'll pop a link in the description so you can go and check it out for yourself. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more content as well. I will of course see you next time. But as always, thanks for watching.